So what this is about the Motorcyclehouse.co.uk Viking saddlebags. I believe Motorcyclehouse.USA is the parent company, and they're Viking saddlebags, and I've got them on my Rebel. Now these Viking saddlebags are the cutout type, so they've actually got the cutout here, which is for the shock on the Rebel. Using the mounting hardware that this came with, I didn't like the fit. I wanted a bigger gap between the bag and the frame, and between the back of the bag and the shocks. And looking around, I ended up buying from motorhouse.co.uk this quick connect or quick release bracket system. Now when you look at these online, it says they are not compatible with these bags. The reason they say that is when you have them positioned correctly, and in this example the back of the bracket lines up with the back of the bag, the back top of the bracket lines up with the back of the bag, so you can raise or lower the bracket, thereby raising or lowering the bag once it's on the bike. So I've set mine up, but it doesn't matter how high or low you have this bracket going by the back of the bag and this top piece here. The cutout will always mean there's a part of the bracket that's got nothing to bolt onto. You can probably see that better if I do that. So there's a gap. And why they say it's not compatible is there is a screw hole here for the fourth screw. There are 4 screws or bolts that hold this bracket onto the bag, and this one is redundant in this example. But all I've done is use different holes. These 2 holes already existed, and as you can see, they on the main part of the bag. This hole through there, don't know if you can see it, already existed. And when I say the hole existed, I'm talking about the bracket. You actually have to drill them into the back of the bag. But then the 4th one was supposed to go here, or up again through here. This is useless, and this is useless. Doesn't hold anything. So all I've done is, I know these are in the right place. I've drilled a hole on the slide part of this and bolted it there, which is the equivalent of this one, but it's a bit further back. You're supposed to use 4 bolts. 1, 2 is in this bracket, then 3, one of those, and then the 4th is in this bracket. Well, all I've done is I've used these 2 and not that one, this one, and I've made my own here and not this one, and it mounts perfectly. It's fine. As you can see, the spacing works. This spacing is dictated to by the bolt positioning on the mudguard, or the fender, however you want to term it. So these are where the 2, in this case right hand side, mudguard bolts go. They're 8mm. You take them out one at a time, and then I used replacement metric M8 bolts, a spacer that came with the kit. The spacers are 10mm, so you have to position them as you bolt it up, and the actual locking lug. Now the locking lug, you get 2 sides. This one's 8mm, the other is 10, so this of course is the 8 which goes with the bolt, which goes with the hole, but the spacers are only 10, so you just have to position them carefully. And basically you just bolt it in. Now I happen to find bolts the right length, so as you put your hand under the mudguard, they don't protrude out into the wheel, In fact, they're exactly flush with the soldered nuts on the inside here that Honda do. And you just repeat that process. So you end up with 2 locking lugs ready to take the quick release bracket. And for those of you who want to get replacement for these, if you live in the UK, these are the ones you want. They're M8 times 50 millimeters. Now with the 50 millimeters and 1 spacer, it's just enough. So that's not my choice. It's the bike decides where these go. My choice is how high or low I have the bags. And I wanted the bag to be exactly mounted as it should be against here. Now there's nothing stopping you. Move this further forward, but a word of caution: if you do that, this will get in the way of your shocks. Not only that, if you were to use this and a complete flat saddlebag on this side without the cutouts, that would interfere with your shocks. So I've come to the conclusion that this bracket and this cutout saddlebag combined work on the Honda Rebel. And those of you who have seen my pictures will see that I've mounted it, it's on. I went for a test ride the other day. They're great, stable, you don't even know they're there. If you've got any questions, please PM me or leave a comment under here so everyone in the group can see it. I'm more than happy to help out anyone who wants to install Viking bags with a cutout onto their Rebel using the quick release mount. And I'm sure there's many other ways to do it. There's other positions you can put them in. I happen to like my bags to the rear rather than forward, so these come up quite close to the indicators. That leaves plenty of room at the front for the shocks. Thanks for watching, I hope it was useful. Cheers!